We're back on TYT Sports. Sherlock Holmes, Rick Strom, Jason Rubin, or as Rick called him, a what?
A shitty Sherlock Holmes, actually, which I don't understand.
You look like a great linguine Alfredo.
Well, you look like a shitty Jason Rubin.
Whoa! That's a compliment?
He's gone.
I don't know. Is he gone?
What the fuck is up with this chair? This chair sucks.
That's not, we should have.
Oh, that would have been better. Yeah, a little bit more timely.
There was a clip that you guys did the other day that Rick and I pointed out on Studio B. We should hopefully throw out a screen grab where I think Jason didn't take the hint to not wear a cushion if someone else doesn't have it, and you guys look like he's sitting. He would be as well just sitting on your lap. You look like you are like a giant next to him, and Rick was like, "Yeah, sports is great."
Like Draymond in 2K.
Yeah. But anyway, continue.
Here's the line from Steven Jackson about Kevin Durant. If you don't know what happened at this point, for very quick context, Kevin Durant was using fake Twitter accounts and fake Instagram accounts to defend him to haters on social media. Kevin Durant, I look at you now as I look at everyone else on Twitter and Instagram that has a little egg avatar. You are that person now. You cannot be excluded from that. Who creates a fake page? I'm the person. If I want to respond to somebody on social media, it has to come from my page with a verified check on it. He's an egg avatar now. I have no respect for him. This was on The Jump with Rachel Nichols.
Do you know, like,
is he an egg, Francis?
No, that's what I was going to say. Like, sometimes, you wake up in the morning, you have to pinch yourself that Donald Trump is still president of the United States. Like, I wake up and I do have to pinch myself that Kevin Durant made a fake Twitter to combat
to
people.
defend himself.
Like that, I don't know if it fully hit me when we did the clip the other day. When I was thinking, I was trying to defend it. I was like, yeah, it's funny, but it is so absurd that you making all those millions of dollars, making that move, take the time out of your day to make that. I think it's settled, so I will give myself the rebuttal of my rebuttaling point of myself and say that, Francis, you should have taken it a little bit more serious the other day, Francis. But in regards to Steven Jackson's comment, on the head, the only other reason that I would say he's more so not an avatar of the egg is he would be a very, very attractive, way out of your league, never, ever, ever going to give you a chance profile picture who has 12 followers and is messaging you saying, hey, want to come over? You know, those Twitter profiles? You're like, sorry,
but he spells come wrong, right?
Yeah, he does. I was like, that's never the real person. They never want me to come over. It's just a fake bot. That's my point.
Brett Ehrlich made the point.
I at first thought you said butt, like butt cheeks.
But
Brett Ehrlich made the point.
Great guy.
Of Pop Trigger and the main show, The Young Turks, made the point that during Donald Trump's campaigning, he noticed that if you just go into his followers,
bots.
A lot of eggs.
Yep.
A lot of
bots.
A lot of eggs.
A lot of bots. Doesn't surprise me.
A lot of eggs.
So Steven Jackson
has a point, but
Steven Jackson also went at Oklahoma City previously. When Serge Ibaka went after him, one of my favorite clips of all time is when Ben Mankiewicz is reading Steven Jackson's tweets. He's like, so here is what Kevin Durant tweeted. Hey, Serge Ibaka, you do that again, I'm going in your mouth. And JR and I are like, oh fuck, we know where this is going. And Ben is just like, to reiterate, going in your mouth. So clearly he wants to pee in his mouth, right, guys? Clearly he wants to pee in his mouth. He wants to pee in his mouth. And JR, like being the voice of reason, is like, hang on a minute. And he slides in, right? With the, when we were at
Current?
Yes, I didn't know if we were allowed to say it. So when we were at Current, the microphone is right there. He's like, Ben, he slides right in, right? Come to my camera, come to my camera. JR's over here, right? And he's like, Ben, hang on a sec. And he's like, you know it's not what he's fucking saying, right? You know that's not what he's saying. And then Ben is like, no, it says it right here, going in your mouth. It was one of the best.
How many hand slides did he do in it though? I don't know how many. The mic, oh, we miss him.
We miss him. But seriously.
Where is Ben?
He's traveling the world, TCMing.
Gotta be in Lithuania. So here's what I say to Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka, here's what I say to, that was amazing. Did we get that on camera?
It was beautiful.
Did we get that on camera?
It was beautiful.
Here's what I say to Steven Jackson. From a Twitter perspective, yes, he is now an egg. An egg, because that's what he was trying to be. So we gotta call it as we see it for what he was trying to be. He's taken such a hit that now, not that it takes much, but when former players are now going at you and questioning everything about you as not just a player, but a man, because we don't even do this when we get a lot of hate. Sometimes, stupidly, we will glorify it. Joe Buck used to do this on Twitter as well when people would go at him in games. But that's like the way to handle it. What you don't do is cheat, get caught in the act, say that it wasn't you, and then circle back about 12 to 24 hours later and then admit it. If he got out in front of this immediately, probably would have been better.
Deny till you die, man.
No, you don't deny till you die.
Deny till you die.
You don't deny till you die.
Deny till you die.
Is that what you tell Kevin Hart?
Deny till you die, bro. Deny till you die. Friend Van over says hashtag free Kevin Hart as his Twitter handle. Totally besides the point and not something I necessarily agree with. But to the point, I do believe there is something psychologically disconnected with Kevin Durant. I think he is completely and in totality one of the greatest basketball players I've ever seen play. And I don't want to take his basketball. When it comes to being on the floor, there is no doubting what Kevin Durant does and is capable of. But everything that has occurred, I would say just this summer with Kevin Durant, it's a similar take to that about John Jones. And this should not be mistaken for sympathy because it is not sympathy. However, John Jones using steroids means he has a lack of self-confidence, that he cannot himself get to that point of being in that peak physical shape in some combination with he wants to cheat, right? There's got to be some form of combo there because if you believe in yourself, you have no reason to take the steroids. The steroids. In the case of
weed.
In the case of Kevin Durant, I have this like small little bit of fear that like he's battling some kind of, and this is purely speculative because it's in response to such a wild thing that your ego complex has to have you back yourself up. That maybe he's battling some kind of depression. Maybe he's handling something that we don't know about.
Well, he said that he's been depressed the last 2 days because he hasn't been able to sleep, he hasn't been eating.
But just his overall demeanor and reaction to something like this, like it's not that surprising that Kevin Durant needs to back himself up with like bots, but like, dude, you validated everything in your move by playing out your damn mind in the finals. Let that do all of your talking. We've talked about this. Like, the shoes, the bots, the damn man, you just need basketball back. That's what you need so you can focus and get back to putting the basketball in the basketball hoop.
It's just a very, very thin-skinned way of going about it. When, as Jason said, you were finals MVP, you hit one of the biggest shots in Warriors history, you could say, in Game 3 in Cleveland.
When they were up like 7 with the Cavs were up.
The Cavs were up, and Kevin Durant wanted the ball. Steph Curry gave it to him, and he pulls up from like 30 feet.
How many times have you seen Kevin Durant just walk into a three-pointer like that? Because he did it at Oklahoma City a lot, and you're like, and you see it happening, you're watching, you're like, there's no play here.
You know it's going in too, because he steps into it perfectly. So real quick, as Jason said, let your play do the talking. Unfortunately, it appears that he can't because he's incredibly thin-skinned, and he lets someone who literally picks his nose and eats his own farts, talk to him on social media, get at him, and it ruins his day. And it's just a very, very thin-skinned way of going about it when he really doesn't have to at all.
I think that the underlying issues that I think Jason hinted at, that again we're speculating here, but just this sense of self-consciousness was probably heightened when he made that decision to go to Golden State Warriors. And I'm not going to sit here and say that it's all Kevin Durant's fault and that he needs to be able to deal with these things. I think that the way the mainstream media works in sports media is because you're not so much used to players making that type of decision, that everyone, the intensity was heightened on that. I think that everyone was ripping the decision from every angle other than the angle of maybe the guy just wants to win some trophies, which I saw from the get-go because I've seen it time and time again, and I never hold a player down for, unless your team's building around you and wants to lend you that. Like Kevin Durant always made this claim when they were like, oh, but he could have won. He was like the closest anyone could ever be, and it still wasn't enough when they lost that finals.
They were a quarter away.
They were a quarter away. They lost that. That must have hurt more than anything. So one thing I would probably give, if I would ever give advice to Kevin Durant, is he's watching the TYT Sports Talk. Because I know he's a fan. I know he's a fan. I think one person that he needs to seek out and ask, as much as he fixes everything else, is like LeBron James. That's someone who's the mental side of his game is mastered, and LeBron James could have self-destructed after failing at the Heat when he first went there, and everyone laughing at him, saying that he couldn't buy himself a title.
Yeah,
and
the
constant,
Mavs.
they caught the Mavs, the Dirk Nowitzki, and he
Sean Stevenson, Jason Kidd.
I love that team. I remember I was watching that finals that broke my heart. That wasn't because, as much as I was called the bandwagoner with LeBron. I was a fan way before LeBron James.
Yeah, you were a Dwayne Wade guy. You've always told me this since 2004. Dwayne Wade, Miami Heat guy.
But that's the guy that just is able to overcome adversity that's faced and thrown at him. And LeBron James, like, you just would never expect that to happen. I'm not saying that Kevin Durant needs to give him a call and be like, how can I handle this? I think Durant knows what he needs to do now, which is, one, don't ever engage with a Twitter egg. That's just the common practice on Twitter. Make sure they've got at least more followers than following. It's another common practice. But then real life comments is just let your game speak for what to validate the decision you made. Because from my opinion and many others, there's still going to be the haters that we argued with Rick before that I don't think we'll ever forget unless he goes back to Oklahoma and wins a title for them, that are always going to try to say that he sold out, blah, blah, blah. But does it make that title for you any less special? Does it make celebrating that moment with your mom, who you gave one of the best speeches ever in MVP history, does that make that any less? I don't understand it. It's like you have everything in front of you. You probably have the ability to go on and potentially put a run together to rival that of the Chicago Bulls.
You're going to win again. You're going to win your next championship next year.
Brilliant basketball player has this defense mechanism of a fifth grader, unfortunately.
It's a flaw.
So just for full transparency, like when I started here, and there's no similarity to Kevin Durant, but I'm going to get to the little bit that it is. When I started here, like I just didn't understand why, when I was doing so much work and I tried so fucking hard, like why people would still hate me for just like my physical appearance. Yeah. I just never understood it. And then Ben talked to me, he's just like, who gives a shit?
Don't read the comments.
Who gives a shit? And it was like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care anymore. And now we continue to put ourselves out there respectively. So to Kevin Durant, because we know that he's going to watch, I think that's the consensus.
We already knew this. He's already watched up to this point. It's whether he sticks
Who is TYT Sports?
Yeah.
Who are these clowns?
Well, that was actually validated because they ripped him for something that was really stupid.
Yeah, the tattoos.
Yeah, the tattoos. Very stupid. So, Kev, stop caring. Stop giving a shit. Just do you. Life is short. Enjoy it while you have it. And I shared this perspective with somebody else at the Young Turks. You could have been, as Gary Vaynerchuk said, a fucking tree. You could have been a plant. You could have been a fish in the sea who literally has to swim to whatever they do, work, school,
to not be eaten,
whatever, to not die. So life actually isn't that bad. Don't pay attention to people on Twitter. Just live your life.